In this video, we're going to show how we can get the details of a post and add a button to delete posts. Hey everyone, this is Brad from DevOps Journey, and in this video, we're going to create two new methods. The first one is going to be to show the details of the post. The next one is going to be a method to delete posts. So I'm going to start off in views.py underneath the post directory, and I'm going to create two new functions. And the first one will be detail, and the next one will be delete. And I'll make sure they both have the request object. And the first thing I want to do is get the post. So I'm going to say post equals get underscore object or 404. And I'll say that equals post and the PK equals ID. So basically what this is saying is it's either going to get the object or it's going to return a 404 message. And I'm sure you all know what a 404 message is with HTTP. I'm sure you've seen it before. That's basically when it says this page cannot be displayed or something is missing. So basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to grab the post. If we can't find the post, we're going to return an error page to the user. Just going over the arguments within the get object or 404, we have the post class, and then we feed in the primary key, which is going to be equal to ID. So I need to import this in because this is actually our model. So at the top I'm going to go from .models import post. And then for the ID here, that's actually going to be fed in through the function. So we'll say, so not only is the request object being sent, but the ID is being sent. And when we go into the urls.py, I'm going to show you how we can specify the URL pattern where it includes an ID in it. So that looks good. Let's do the same for our delete method. Make sure the ID is being sent and do the get object or 404. The next thing we want to do for the detail method is we want to return a template. Let me copy and paste this down here and put it here and just make some changes. So I'm going to change this to detail.html, and instead of creating a form, I actually want to display a post. So I'm going to say post equals post. And basically this object is equal to this, which it's grabbing from the database, because this is our database model for post. So that's good. That should be enough information that we need to send to the template. We'll go into the template after this and make sure that we are displaying this post properly. But let's finish off our delete method first. So I'm going to go into, so in our delete method, instead of doing a return, we actually want to delete the post. And that's actually pretty simple to do. We just need to go in the post object and do .delete. And that's going to delete our post object. Now after we delete, we have the option to render a template and say that the post has been deleted, but instead I'm just going to redirect to the home page. So I'm going to do a return redirect and just specify the route. So that should be good. When you hit the delete button, it's going to delete the post and then return you to the home page. And if you go into the details of a post, it's going to render the template post.html, and it's going to send the post object to it. Okay, perfect. So now let's go into our URLs object and make sure we have the logic to get to the detail and delete method. Okay, so we're going to head on over to our blog folder, and under there we have urls.py. And currently this is where we're holding all our URL patterns. So you can see for posts right now we only have one URL pattern, but now in the views.py we actually have 3 created, so we need 2 more URL patterns, one for detail and one for delete. Now we could easily just add these into the URL patterns in the default urls.py location, but as our application grows, it's going to be harder and harder to manage it under a single urls.py file. So the proper way to do this would be to create a new urls.py specifically for posts methods, and then import that into the main urls.py. So to do that is actually quite simple. We're going to delete these two lines that are in reference to the posts methods. And then we're going to go up to this import, and we're going to import the method include. Now we're going to go and create a single URL pattern for all our posts. And now we're going to include a separate URL file for our posts. So we're going to say the path of everything starting with posts. We want the pattern to be what's ever in posts.urls. And now we're going to create this posts.urls file. So under the post directory, I'm going to go new file, and I'm going to name it urls.py. And now posts has its own urls.py file. And we can use this file to reference all the post methods. So I'm going to import a few things into this urls.py. First I'm going to do from Django.urls import path, because that's important. We're going to use it for all our URL patterns. And then I also want to import views from the current directory. So it's importing the views.py. And these are our methods that we just created. Next I'm going to do a URL patterns. So I'll copy this, paste it here, and let's make it empty. Now let's start creating our URL patterns for our post methods. So the first one is going to be a path to new. And that's going to be views.new name equals new. And basically that's the one that we had from the last video. This is our new method that creates new posts. The next one is going to be path, and then we want an int ID. And we're going to say views.details, or just detail. And then do name equals detail. And I need some commas here. And then I'm going to copy and paste this. And instead of detail, it's going to be delete. And I also want to say that it needs to say delete slash, and then it gives the ID. So that's all it takes. Let's go over this just so we fully understand what these URL patterns are going to be. So if I look in my main urls.py, which is under our blog application, this is the first urls.py that Django looks at. It's going to import the admin route. It's going to import welcome. Then it's going to say everything that starts with posts slash go to post URL. So we go here. So all the patterns now are already starting like this. Let me make this a string just so it looks nicer. And we'll just go like this. example.com/posts. And we'll comment this out. Basically, before you get to this file, this is what the URL pattern looks like. So for our first method, if it receives the pattern post/new, it's going to create a new post. For this one, for the details, if it receives post/a number, like 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, whatever the primary key is for that post, it's going to display that post. The last one is delete/ID, so it will look similar to this, but it will be delete/1. So if you go to that URL, it's going to delete post number 1. So if you go to this URL, it'll go to post number 1. And just remember, this is a variable. If you did 5, it would delete post number 5. And if you put in a number there that does not exist in the database, like a big number like that we know we don't have a post ID for, you're going to get that 404 message, and that's because we use the get object or 404. So if it receives an ID that is not valid in that URL, you're going to get the 404 message. So I hope that explains it well and you understand how these URL patterns are working now. One last thing I'd like to mention is this name field, which we haven't really been using much in the past. Basically, this is a friendly name, and we're going to use it when we create our links using Jinja templating. We're basically going to go URL, and then we're going to specify this name, and then if it has a variable, like this one, we feed in a variable to it. So it's always important to give a name to your path, and I don't think we did that in our original welcome path. So let me go back to urls.py underneath blog, and then for welcome, I'm going to give it the name equals home. And again, you can name it whatever you want. The key factor is this friendly name does not have to equal the method name that's in your views.py. So we're almost done here with what we need to do to get our delete button working and displaying the details of our posts. The only thing we haven't done so far is update our templates so our users can actually access this information and use these links. So let's hop into our templates now. So I'm going to downsize my blog folder, and then I'm going to hop into this posts directory underneath template/posts, and I'm going to create a new template, and I'm going to call this one detail.html, and then within there I'm going to paste in a template I have here. And this is a basic template that's similar to the other ones we use. Basically, it's taking in the base.html, which we created in an earlier tutorial. The next thing is it's defining a title for the page, and we're just reading in the post title. And then I'm using a bootstrap card, and within there, it's the title and then the body. So this is very similar to our welcome template, but instead of rendering each individual post, it's rendering the specific post. The next thing I want to do is add in a couple of links at the bottom here. So I'm going to do so I'll go href equals, and then home, and then close that out. And then for the location of this link, I'm going to use the URL feature. And I will specify home, since that's what we have defined in our URL patterns. Next thing I'm going to do is copy and paste this. And then I'm going to give the option to delete the post. So I'll say delete, but I don't want to just end it there. I want to send it the value post ID. And the reason I'm doing that is because if we look in our views, the delete method is not just taking in a request, it also requires an ID. So when I go to it, I want to make sure to give the post ID for that. And then just to spice things up, I'm going to give this a class, and I'll say equals btn btn-danger, and then btn-small. And these are bootstrap classes. That's going to make this look like a small delete button. And within the text here, I'm just going to say delete post, and that should be enough for our details template. Now let's go and edit our welcome page so we can actually link to the detail page. So I'm going to go under websites, templates, and then under the website folder underneath welcome, and you can see it's very similar to the detail template that we just made, except for it's looping through all the posts. So I actually want to create a link for the post title. So I'm going to say href right here equals, and then make sure my title's within that link. And then I'm going to do the URL again. And the URL I want to specify is detail. And I want to feed in post ID. And basically that's going to go to this view. It's going to go to detail and provide the ID. So now that we have this, let's go ahead and start our server. So I'm going to enable my virtual environment here. I have a script that does that, so I'll just type run, and then I'm going to go into blog, and let's go Python manage run server. I'm going to get rid of this PyLinter message. And it doesn't like something here. So line 23 of blog/urls.py, name include is not defined. So let's go over to blog, URLs. Oh, and the error is a typo. I guess I'm a little dyslexic today, but that's okay. That should fix it. And I'm going to add a comma at the end here. Now let's restart the server. And it looks like it's working. So I'll go into our page. And now you can see that we have a link here. And when we click it, it looks like it's getting to our post page, but there is an error. And the error is name get object or 404 is not defined. So that should be very simple for us to fix. Let's hop into our views.py and fix that. So it should be up here. I'm going to go get object or 404. And that should be enough to fix it. So let's go back in. I'll go back, refresh, click the link, and there we go. We got into the details of our posts, and we could also just manually put in these post IDs. Go 2. I think we have up to 3 posts, so I'll go 3. And then if you try number 4, you should get a 404 message. Actually, I guess I'm wrong about that. Let's go to 5. There we go. So we add posts 1 to 4, but 5 doesn't exist. And also later on this course, I will show you how we can make our own custom 404 messages to make things look a little cleaner. But having this for now is just fine since we're still just in development mode. So I'm going to go back. One thing that I notice with our page is when I click this home button, nothing's happening, and we don't have anything for pricing, so I'm just going to take that out. Let's go back in and fix that together. So I'll go here, and this is under our top menu. We don't need this pricing link. And then for home, I just have this hashtag here. Let's put in URL home. And then for post, let's go URL post. And then I want to change this to YouTube since it's a YouTube link. Save that. Let's refresh. And the error here is post is not found. Let's change that to new, because that's how our URL pattern is set up. It's set up as new. So save that, refresh, we can get in, we go home, we can see all our posts, we can go into our individual posts, and then we can click post to create a new post. So we are looking pretty good. I'm also going to add a URL for this icon. So I'll copy this and then put that here, save it, refresh, there we go. Now we can click the icon or this home button and it will take us home. So the last thing is, we created that details page and we can get there, but we're not seeing our delete post button. So let's go ahead and check that out. So underneath detail, we can see that I created these two hrefs, but it is before the end block. So let's go ahead and put that within this block content, and that should resolve the problem. Go ahead and refresh. Now we get a home link which takes us home, and then we have the delete post. So I will hit delete post. And there you go, it's deleted the post. Now we only have 3 posts. Let's go ahead and delete this one here. And now we just have 2 posts. So I think that was pretty simple to set up. I hope everyone was able to follow along. In our next video, we're going to actually get some user authentication so we can log in. And then we're going to make it so only logged in users can delete or create posts. And we're also going to make it so these posts have authors, and only authors can delete the posts as well. So a couple cool new things coming up. I hope you all stick around. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and I hope to see you all in the next video.